Okay guys, Jacob here. We are about to paint our Mortek Guard. He's just a poor commoner who wants to stab you in the gut. And so we are using some good solid tabletop quality. Okay, we start from the scratch. We apply base layers with a white brush. I like to do all the colors at once before I step again to the washing. So I start with snakebite leather on all bones, a midnight blue on the armor. Armor is quite tricky here, so I diluted it with the water because I applied 2 layers of the blue because I want it to be a very bluey. Okay, we use some teal or aquamarine on our waistcloth. From behind it's hard to tell which is cloth and which is his bones. The same is about his shoulders. Okay, middle green or middle gray or wall gray on the shield and the armor. Be careful on the shoulders because there is hard to tell which is armor and which is, the rim. Okay, last thing, the metals. We use ordinary metallics for the, tabletop. So bone metal for sword and copper for all the other parts. Okay, now we step to the layering. I use little blending. As you can see, I have prepared the snakebite leather and bone white and I mix it together. So I apply 2 layers. One is which is like half and half of this color. Second is more for the bone white. Because we are going to wash or shade it down, of course it will get darker, so no worries about how light it looks now. It's not dry brushing, as you can see. I use only very light brush strokes, so it's kind of like dry brush. You want to hit your raised areas, but with light hand and with a little bit diluted color with water. This way you don't get the ugly dry brush pattern, those tiny bits, tiny particles which ruins all the colors. Now it's a coat only with bone white, and after it's dry we can go to shading. I shade the armor, the blue part and the gray rims with the Nuln oil or black shades. I use a variety of brands, but for shading I'm using only the Citadels. I think they are the best. So I apply the Nuln oil again on all the metallic parts and on the waistcloth. We want all the metals to be like sometime in the ground, so no shiny things. And so don't worry about the black ink. As you can see, I'm applying black on bones as well because I want to get the rims around the armor, so little layer around armor and the sword and so on. Now I'm going to Agrax Archade, which is one of my favorite shades of all time. I use it on every model, nearly every model. And as you can see, I'm applying a thick coat of it all around the bone area. You can apply more or less. If you think it's too dark, you can suck it up with your brush. Now we go on with the layering. We start with the gray. I use usually the same color as it was the base, so it's a wall gray. If you have a lot of colors, you can use different for bases and layers, but I don't usually do it much. Try to cover like half of the surface with the lighter color. We do the same with the aquamarine on the waistcloth. It's the same color as it was the base. Now the tricky part is the armor. I'm using like the middle blue, so it could be any kind. I use the middle electric blue, and for this I don't cover half of the surface. I just highlight the edges. I use a little bit diluted color, so it won't be problem when I apply more layers at once. It depends what effect would you like to have. It's a little bit electric, but not that much. Now I apply green on the jewel in his heart and his eyes and kneecaps, and because the blue is one of the trickiest part, I apply a second coat of washing, the second coat of null oil because I want to have it, you know, really dark, and the first layer now blends to the base, so it will be a little bit more shiny than before. I apply it on the gray as well because we take a lot of work on the bones, so why do not do the other? We apply the eye sockets as well, and we apply neon oil on weapons again, so it's really rusty and all. Now another layer of bone white on bones. It depends on what color are you seeking. I like the darker ones because those are not classic bones, it's bones construct. So I finish on the bone white, but I cover most of the surface again with the blend of bone white and snakebite leather. Okay, so we do little highlights here and there, all those, you know, rims and little horns he have with the bone white, so it's a little bit shiny and it has the, you know, the depth of shadows. The same we do with the armor, but first we apply the Egrex Earth shade, the last one, but this time we don't want to have only the darkness, it's a little bit more artistic, and we try to, you know, to make the rims darker than the center. It's how the Games Workshop does it. Okay, again blue highlight, it's same middle blue tone again, but because we apply the null oil, it's like another layer. Then we prepare even lighter, it's like some kind of electric blue. We cover only the rims and the edges, and finally we can apply electric blue with white or even only white. As you can see, I'm applying the wolf gray, so it's very bluey gray on the rims of the armor, and that's more or less it. It depends on you. If you make the highlights harder, it looks a little bit plastic, it's hard to do the gray properly, but it's about the color you seek. I like when there is the brown tone and hard highlights with a little bit different color. As I said, the wolf gray is good for it. Okay, last, the whitey accent, so it's a little bit shiny, and we are done. And here they are. The middle one is the dude we just did, and on the left and on the right are the same color schemes but with a little twist. On the rim, on the left we use the bronze, on the right we use the bone. A little bit of basing, you know, snakebite leather around, corkscrew stones, and a Martian technical color. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget I usually upload the long video of me doing everything very slowly, so if you're enthusiastic to see any special brush stroke, look in there. So see you in next videos very soon. Bye bye.